Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Good evening and welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm meteorologist Gabe and we are tracking another, I was going to say cold night, but I'm going to say a frigid night because that's how cold we're talking about heading into these overnight hours. Again, cannot snap this cold streak, but luckily things do get better. So that's what we're tracking. Headlines tonight, frosty morning ahead, so may have to defrost those windshields as you head out to the morning commute. But beyond that, skies stay clear for our Tuesday. Allow that sunshine to move back in. And finally, that sunshine is actually going to translate into some warmer weather. So trending in the right direction, but we'll definitely need it to get a little bit warmer by the time we get into the latter part of this week. Speaking of the latter part of this week, storms moving in by Thursday. Some of those could be on the stronger side. We're expecting that further south, but we'll break down that coverage here in just a moment. The first 12, as you can see, 11 p.m., 26 degrees. Yeah, already cold across North Mississippi, but falling into those overnight hours. And by 5 a.m., some of us will be waking up in the low 20s. Some of us still feeling like the teens. That breeze, again, not going to be overbearing here in Tupelo, but as we move further out towards the west, a little bit more of those breezy conditions, dropping those feels like values, a degree, 2 degrees, even 3 degrees, dropping it into those teens for some spots for, again, those feels like or those wind chill values as they head about that morning commute. So taking a look outside right now, it is a beautiful day here in Tupelo, a beautiful night, should I say, 27 degrees, dew point still at 18 degrees. So when we say a dry forecast, we mean exactly that. And a big thank you to the folks at Mitchell Cunningham and Bowling for providing us this look out in the sky. A great looking view out there, but a cold looking view out at that. As we keep the North Mississippi Storm Chasers cameras going, 25 degrees in Oxford, still with those clear skies and a little bit of those stars showing off as well. And of course, if we show Oxford, we got to show Starkville to even out the field. 25 degrees, dew point at 21, still with those dry conditions. But I noticed that there is nobody on campus walking around. I can't blame them there because of how cold things are. It's definitely a forecast where you want to stay indoors or at least at a source where there's heat as you go about any of those evening plans. So our Mississippi Live Weather radar staying dry and clear as we head into our 10 o'clock hour, not tracking anything on our satellite. If we expand things out, we can see on our infrared technology over there in Texas, some of those clouds starting to build in, and as we populate this in a few hours, you can see how these have gradually worked their way east, northeast, and that's where we could get a little bit of those thin clouds working into our forecast by our Tuesday afternoon. But Tuesday morning starting off beautiful, and those clear skies really allowing us to cool off as we head into those overnight hours. So that's why things are so cold. But we are going to get in a better trend moving forward. This as that Gulf moisture returns to the forecast. High pressure, we hear about it all the time. I hear on Mississippi Live Weather that it has this clockwise circulation to it. So there you're getting a visual as those winds work around the high. And since we are on the left side or the west side of that high, a lot of that Gulf moisture does return, especially with these stronger high pressure centers. So you get a lot of this same feeling air down here in the Gulf, feeling that same way up here in North Mississippi. So that's where we'll continue to develop that forecast as we get into those overnight hours with those temperatures gradually building over the coming days because of how things are trending with those wind speeds or wind directions, should I say. So Monday night, staying with those calm and clear conditions as we work into those overnight forecasts. You can see there's that thin cloud cover trying to inch into our forecast and a little bit of moisture seen up there towards northern Tennessee and really around Paducah, Kentucky as those light showers move into the Kentucky area, but again, not going to play a part in our forecast. At most, we'll see a few of those thin clouds by Greenville by 6 a.m. And as the day goes on, those clouds gradually working more into North Mississippi. And again, you might think, well, this is going to be a densely covered sky. No, this is actually going to be some of those thin clouds we call cirrus clouds. And those are high up in the atmosphere and don't really block too much of that sunshine. So as we keep going into our Tuesday afternoon, those thin clouds do persist and into our afternoon forecast, similar forecast at that. So not expecting much change throughout the day. The only change you can expect is that cloud cover becoming a little bit more significant as the day goes on, especially on the latter half of the day as that moisture kicks back into the forecast, ups those dew points, and makes way for a soggier forecast by Wednesday, but really by Thursday. One of the things we're breaking down here in the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60 is going to be the latest on those rain chances, the latest on that temperature forecast, and did anyone say Christmas? It's right around the corner, a little over a week away. We'll have an early look at that forecast here on Mississippi Live Weather, so stay tuned for what we have here on Mississippi Live Weather at 10, right after the break.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Great looking skies tonight across North Mississippi and just under freezing there in the Clarksdale area, 31 degrees, but this is one of the locations that we're watching for those breezier conditions. About 5 to 10 miles an hour is what we're expecting, so we're not expecting a 10-degree difference in regards to those feels like in actual temperatures, but bumping it down a degree or two definitely will make a bit of a difference as we head about that morning commute. Those winds, talking about it with Matt at 6 o'clock, that's what really makes a difference for me personally. If it's a breezy and cold forecast, I don't even want to step foot outside. If it's just a cold forecast, I can bear it to a certain point, but I can bear it much more than those breezy forecasts. So West Point, that's more my cup of tea. 25 degrees with no wind. Yeah, I can stand that. Still a cold forecast, so you have to layer up, but the wind is what really just sets it over the edge, at least for me personally. And I know a lot of folks out there probably in the same boat. Pontotoc, 27 degrees. Still those winds about 5 miles an hour. Dew point's at 18 degrees, so dry pattern still in place. Not going to change too much here over the next 24 hours as those dry conditions remain overhead. But the real story, temperatures. And that's going to be the story overnight and for the start of our Tuesday. As you take a look along our Mississippi Live Weather radar, no chance of rainfall, no cloud cover, nothing blocking our sky. And those temperatures, allowing those to cool off as we head overnight. Already seeing 26 degrees Tupelo, 28 around Ripley, 28 Grenada, 28 Aberdeen, 30. I see that in Macon. I see some in Iuka. I see 31 in Hernando, so some areas better than others, but that cooling trend will continue to happen overnight. But let's talk past 24 hours. It's actually been a warming trend, so we're not going to be in the teens like what we started at this morning. Tomorrow morning, actually trending in the right direction despite being in the 20s. We're seeing anywhere from a 3-degree difference to a 5-degree difference to 8 to 11 to a 12-degree difference. But let's look at the bigger picture, expanding this out. And as you can see, those reds popping up, that's a 20 to near 30-degree temperature change over a 24-hour span. And yes, that's a realistic possibility that those temperatures out in Springfield and Rogers are what we feel heading into our Tuesday afternoon. So looking at those temperatures, 43 right now in Springfield, 40 in Oklahoma City, and 43 in Dallas. That air pushing more into North Mississippi. So these 25-degree forecasts going to be a thing of the past, at least for a short period of time as we work out that colder air and bring in some of that warmer air. But as you can see, that cold air packed a punch. That Canadian air dipping as far south as North Mississippi, but still sitting in Pittsburgh, Detroit, Minneapolis. So if you're watching Monday Night Football and you're watching those folks out in Pittsburgh as they take on the Miami Dolphins, I just always think about the fact Miami Dolphins are traveling from Miami, Florida, to 17 degrees in Pittsburgh and potentially some snow working in every now and then. So say a prayer for those Dolphins. They're playing like you would expect them to, and that's not very good because they're not used to the cold weather. It makes sense. So tonight it's going to be a cold forecast, dipping off the scale. I should have adjusted that, but it was hard to pick a side because, as you can see, climbing to 51 degrees by 11 a.m., so things are trending in the right direction, and a much warmer forecast than today is expected heading into our forecast tomorrow. Hard to believe with tomorrow morning's temperatures, but by the afternoon you'll be thanking me on that. But as we look at Futurecast by midnight tonight, still with those mostly clear and dry conditions, those southerly winds back into the forecast, though, going to be a bit more breezy out there in the Delta. But as we head into those overnight hours, one of the things we just discussed was going to be how clear things will be all day long, just because that cloud cover is very thin. It's going to be those high-end cirrus clouds, not exactly blocking much of that sunshine. So that allows for the atmosphere to cool off overnight, hence why our temperatures are so cold. Let's get a look at those here, right here in the Room to Room Weather Center. 24 degrees Water Valley, 27 Greenwood, 26 around Clarksdale. And as we work out east, 23 in Tupelo, Boonville, 25 Amory, and 23 around Starkville. Wind chill, what you'd expect, what we've been talking about, a little bit colder. I keep wanting to say cooler. Colder out west where it's a bit more breezy, dropping that a few degrees, and that's going to, again, make all the difference. If you're starting in the teens compared to starting in the mid-20s, trust me, you would rather be in the 20s than the teens. I think everyone would agree with me on that. So our school day forecast, cold to start, enough to have those layers on standby, 25 degrees around drop-off, so 2, 3, potentially even 4 layers with some gloves. Hot hands, always a best friend of mine as I was growing up to keep me warm on that commute to school. Whenever it was days like what we'll expect on our Tuesday, 45 degrees by lunch and 52 towards that final bell. You see the sunshine all day long. It's going to be a good looking forecast, so all of that sunshine allowing that atmosphere to warm right back up. So let's expand things out. Again, you see that cloud cover moving in by 7:30. That's going to be that thin cloud cover pushing in from the Gulf, and that's going to really not do too much to our skies. If anything, it'll just be a cool feature that we see throughout the day. So that continues to be the case by noon, and that cloud cover will gradually build along I-55 and further out towards the east once we get into our afternoon time frame. So any folks looking to head out and about, going to be a good forecast for it. Honestly, a beautiful forecast that I recommend everybody head outside and enjoy, especially whenever you talk about rain chances pushing into that extended forecast. So Tuesday afternoon, as you wrap up the school day, and hey, last week of school for a lot of folks, just finish strong, kids. I believe in you. You got it. Just finish that final exam and you'll be sitting pretty for winter break. But speaking of sitting pretty, this forecast, again, sits pretty into those Tuesday evening plans. I don't believe we have a Christmas parade. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think our Christmas parade days are a thing of the past. But speaking of, our Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lopon, was actually out at the Christmas parade tonight. He has a look at how things went out there and tells us a little bit about the forecast, the atmosphere, the vibes. It was amazing out in Shannon. Matt, tell us more.
Hey Gabe, I'm here at the lower parking lot at the Shannon High School with all the fire trucks lined up behind me and other floats and entries all lit up and Christmas lights of all different types this evening. You know, a lot of folks coming out here on what has been a cool evening to enjoy one of the very last Christmas parades that we have here across North Mississippi. And people and fun were in no short supply this evening, despite the fact that we had all the cold conditions. Unfortunate to see the parade season, winding down, but at least got to end with a good one here. And I mean, yeah, you can see the kids and all floats and everything already, and enjoying what is obviously a very festive night. Do appreciate the good folks from MLM Clothiers for sponsoring our Christmas parade tour here across North Mississippi. They've been a great partner with us dating back to our coverage of going to Australia, and it's just so thankful that they allowed us to be able to kind of go around supporting us to hit all the different Christmas parades across North Mississippi that we could, and hopefully we'll be able to do a few more for next year. But in the Shannon area at the high school, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon for Mississippi Live Weather.
And tonight, a cold forecast, but tomorrow trending a little bit better. So any of those plans you may have going to be paired with slightly warmer temperatures. As you take a look at our high temperatures, 51 in Oxford, 50 South Haven, 52 New Albany, still upper 40s on the far northeast side of the Magnolia State with 49 degrees showing up, 52 degrees Amory, and 54 Golden Triangle. So we're trending in the right direction. But then we start to trend in the wrong direction in the skies. As you can see right here, that cloud cover does translate to some isolated showers as we get into our Tuesday night and really by our Wednesday morning. So I'm going to take a step off screen here real quick so you can get a little bit of a better visual on that. That, of course, by midnight, starting to cross the Mississippi River. And as we get into that Wednesday morning time frame, yeah, those showers becoming a little bit more widespread. So one of the things that we've been tracking on models is it started with just a few pop-up showers, trending a little bit more wet as each day passes by. And of course, this model run trending a little bit more wet than even the time before. So of course, we're watching for the chance of those showers working their way through the region. Still expecting a lot of these to be on the lighter side. So maybe the first or second setting on the windshield wipers. But as the day goes on, those isolated chances do try to linger in that forecast, still with some heavy sections, but not expecting much, probably about 2/10 of an inch, maybe up to 1/4 of an inch as this system passes on through. But as we keep going with that forecast, Wednesday afternoon trending a little bit more drier as those become a little bit more few and far between, and 3 p.m. of course following that same trend. So the morning seems to be the most soggy side of our Wednesday forecast, but there are more chances on the back end. And if you let me expand this out, you can kind of get a visual that this front way up here in Nebraska and the Dakotas and Minnesota, that's extending a little bit more southeast. And that's going to be our weather maker, taking what's already a saturated forecast and making with it some showers and potentially some storms as well. So as we look at those high temperatures, bringing it back in here to North Mississippi, of course, with all these showers, it is still going to be a slightly warmer forecast. One of the things we talk about is that give and take. Whenever you give dry conditions, you take away that warm air, and that's why it's always a cold and dry forecast this time of year. But whenever you give warm temperatures, you take those dry conditions. So now you're starting to see the warmer side of things, but of course the soggier side of things with those showers back in the forecast, them gradually building as we get into our Wednesday and continue into our Thursday. So Wednesday afternoon, high temperatures. We talk about the warmer side of things. Upper 50s expected Water Valley, Bruce, Houston, 60 degrees Golden Triangle, 62 Kosciuszko, and 61 around Belzone. Our normal 55 degrees, so we'll be sitting above that after being below that for so long. So over the next few days, we're gradually increasing to the mid-60s by Thursday. That frontal system that we talked about, dropping our temperatures just briefly on Friday before building back up Saturday, Sunday, and into your Monday. But look at low temperatures. We talked about just how cold things were today. Tuesday, going to be cold as well, 23 degrees for low temperatures, 36 by Wednesday. And Thursday, sitting with a balmy 47 degrees for the start of the day, cooling off Friday, Saturday, but then warming right back up because of that moisture returning by your Sunday and Monday. So looking at our forecasted rainfall next couple of days, there's that limited chance of showers that are going to be west of the Mississippi River, where those best chances lie heading into the next couple of days. But as we work our way into our Wednesday and Thursday forecast, you can see that those chances of rainfall do return and going to be a little bit more significant by Thursday as that frontal system kicks into the area and gives us some higher outputs of rainfall. By the time we get into our weekend forecast, Friday, dry, cooler, but then Saturday things warm up and still with partly cloudy conditions. The real rain chances move back into the forecast by Sunday and linger into the start of next week. So of course we're going to keep eyes behind the scenes. I see some folks in chat talking about the illnesses and things like that. We're saying a prayer for everybody this time of year, just trying to stay healthy. The flip-floppy nature of Mississippi weather, yeah, it just makes the sinus, the immune system just go berserk. So we're saying a prayer for everybody and make sure to take care of yourselves. Enjoy this time off, this winter break. Take some time off to just enjoy family, enjoy resting, and get all ready to go for 2026. Unreal that that's right around the corner. We'll continue our coverage with our Christmas forecast, with our New Year's Eve forecast at some point. But speaking of, it's never too early to look at a Christmas forecast. Let's go ahead and look at that. So here we get a look. This is not the forecast at the North Pole. This is the forecast in North Mississippi. And as you can see, Christmas Eve going to be 70 degrees, Christmas 71 degrees. Mostly dry forecast with those warmer temperatures, but cloudy skies are expected. But this forecast, I mean, guys, it is December 15th right now. We are 10 days away. So expect this to have some changes heading into the next few days, but we feel good, confident about the fact that it's going to be above average when it comes to those temperatures. So enjoy that. For anyone that's wanting a white Christmas, it's going to be above average for a large portion of the United States. One of the things we'll look at heading into our forecast tomorrow is going to be that extended outlook into your Christmas season, into your New Year season. So we'll have a full breakdown coming up tomorrow night. But I wanted to give you guys a little preview on what to expect for your holiday season. But I hope you guys do have a Merry Christmas. Get all of that Christmas shopping done so you can take that stress away. And then you just coast right into spending time with family and then wrapping up the year of 2025. Speaking of wrapping up the year 2025, wrap it up with the Mississippi Live Weather app. Go ahead and download that today. And the best gift you can give somebody is the free and available Mississippi Live Weather app, free and available on iOS and Android. So if you have not downloaded it, you're missing out. And make sure to not only download it yourself, but share it with a loved one. Screenshot this and send it to them that they need to download it right now or before 2025 ends. As we take a look at that broadcast schedule, we will be back bright and early on your Tuesday at 6:37 and 7:30. So make sure to get to bed so you can wake up bright and early with us here at Mississippi Live Weather with a hot cup of coffee in hand. Emphasis on hot. It's going to be a cold one tomorrow morning, but it should be a beautiful day in the skies if you can handle those cold conditions. One of the things our meteorologist Maggie McCauley will talk about in more detail coming up on Mississippi Live Weather today. But until then, have a terrific Tuesday ahead.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy